Oh my god. When I edit my YouTube videos, I cringe myself. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name's Abi Mack. I'm a 21-year-old singer-songwriter from Nova Scotia, Canada. And this is a pretty new channel, so make sure to subscribe, do all the things. We do a little bit of everything on here. Today is just gonna be a sit-down, real talk kind of video. We do real talks, we do vlogs, we do music, we do all the things. We just keep shit real here. Today, I'm gonna be sitting down and chatting with y'all about something that has been hard for me lately. So I'm gonna get right into that, but before I do, I also have other social medias under official.abimack on everything. I have Instagram, which please go help a girl out, follow my Instagram. I am struggling with Instagram, please help a girl out. And TikTok, make sure to go follow on there as well. And as always, please go make sure to listen to my music. It really does help me out so much. I'm just Abi Mack on all streaming platforms. You can go find me. I have 5 songs out right now and more to come. I am so excited. Let's do a quick vibe check right now. I'm sitting in my comfy office chair and I have a cozy blanket. I decorated for fall yesterday. It was my little Sunday reset. I'm filming this on a Monday, by the way. I know it's Tuesday right now, but like, it's fine. I am just so happy. There's literally blankets and candles and everything in every corner of my apartment, so I'm so freaking thankful. My water off camera, I have a candle off camera. It's vanilla bean scented. I also have my little lunch snacky snack thing here. Snacky snack, is that a thing? I have baby carrots and the best hummus ever, roasted red pepper hummus. I'm just gonna sit and eat and chat today. It's gonna be pretty chill vibe. And that's usually what my YouTube videos are anyway. It's pretty chill vibe. It's pretty chill. I wanna talk about body image today because lately I have been struggling. I wanna start this video off by saying this is my lived experience, this is my life, whatever, and I wanna just, like, I am not a professional, yada yada yada. I just wanna throw that out there. So I'm just gonna give a little bit of like a backstory about like my own history with body image. When I was younger, I never really thought about body image. I never really thought about how I felt about my body. My body was just my body, all that stuff. Like, I never really thought about it until I was about 11 years old, grade 6. I actually started to really think about my body and I started to really be self-conscious and look at the other girls and how they looked and compare myself to them. I was a pretty tall, slim kid and I don't think I've really grown since I was 14. I was pretty tall, I was pretty lanky, all that stuff, and I never really started to think about it until I was 11. And when I hit 11, I started to think about it in this horrible way and comparing myself to everybody, and it was really brutal. When I was about 14, I had my first relationship, I had all this stuff, I was changing, my friend group was changing, my schools was changing. I was just going through a lot. I was going through a normal transitional period every girl gets. Like, I just got my period like a year before. Started to feel even more self-conscious about myself, and I started to feel even more badly about myself, but in a really negative way. And I started to become obsessed with what I was eating and the food I was putting into my body. Like, I have always been, like, when I was a kid, I was a fries, chicken nuggets, poutine kind of girl. Like, I just loved eating. And I really liked enjoying food, and I really liked enjoying different cultures. Like, I loved eating. Like, it was just fun for me. I was a foodie, if you will. But when I was 14, I started to be really self-conscious about what I would eat because I noticed that girls would eat healthier than me or eat differently than me, so I started to eat more what they ate and I started to become obsessed with it. And I didn't realize at 14 years old that I was like permanently altering and damaging my relationship to food. It's really hard to go through that at any age, but when you're 14 years old, developing and you're changing so much already, to have that relationship alter is really scary and was a really scary thing for me to go through at that age. So when that happened, I didn't realize what was happening. It started out with me being more self-conscious about what I was eating and more aware. Should I eat this cheeseburger or should I eat this salad? On some level, it sounds good or healthy in a way. You become so obsessed with it. In my case, I was in 9th grade, 14. I initially thought about like, what I was eating. I would choose vegetables over certain things. I would like research a bunch of stuff. But then it was becoming where I would research every micronutrient that was in every single thing I ate. And then it became where I wanted to count calories to track what I was eating and then limit those calories lower and lower and lower. And then it became that I planned every single thing that I ingested into my body. Like I would plan when I would eat breakfast and when I would eat lunch and all these things. And then it turned into being really scary where I'd be like, well, I don't have to eat lunch, or I don't have to eat dinner. I don't have to do that. And that would be months and months and months where I'm like, I don't have to do that. I found myself getting skinnier and losing weight and doing all these things. And I wish I could go back in time and shake myself. Like, girl, you don't need to lose weight. You don't need to be this focused on your body. And now as a 21-year-old woman, I know I was damaging not only my relationship with food, but I was also damaging my body. I didn't understand that nutrients actually fuels you. It's like putting gas in your tank. You can't run if you don't put gas in the tank. And so your body is a machine. It can't run unless you fuel it. And food is how we fuel our body. Water is how we hydrate our body. And I didn't realize that didn't click in for me at 14, 15 years old. That relationship started to become more damaged and damaged and damaged. And I started to restrict and restrict and restrict more. And it was horrible. And, I was losing weight, I was feeling more confident in myself, but I was also experiencing brain fog, and I was experiencing dehydration cramps and muscle fatigue. I was experiencing nothing that a healthy 14-year-old girl should be experiencing because I was just limiting what I put in my body. This went on for about a year. When I got to 10th grade, I felt so good. I felt like I had a glow up. I started to learn how to put makeup on. I lost a bunch of weight. I felt so beautiful and so pretty. And then COVID happened in grade 10. I was 15 years old and we were locked in our houses. It was 3 months lockdown, the first lockdown, and it was horrible. And those 3 months, easily the darkest 3 months of my life. I had no school, everything was online. And in that time, in those 3 months, I became utterly obsessed with fitness and nutrition. I still carried those habits over from restricting food and everything. I became obsessed with working out. I know that there are gonna be some people who listen to this video and think oh, well, working out's a good thing and being mindful of what you put in your body is a good thing, all that stuff. Not at the level of obsession that I was at. It was not healthy. When you work out a ton, I was working out 4 times a day. So to be that active and eat that little, it was just combating each other and it was horrible. So this went on after those 3 months. It continued where I was obsessed with fitness for about another year until I was 16. And when I was 16 years old, and this took me a long time to admit, but when I was 16 years old, I started to not only restrict what I was eating and work out obsessively and, have all of these unhealthy habits and, mindset about myself, I started to also make myself sick when I would eat. After every meal, I would make myself sick. It was horrible. It's really hard to talk about. It really is. I was at my lowest weight at that point for being and I'm not a small girl, I am 5'10", but the way my weight's distributed, I have thick thighs and I have kind of an hourglass figure, and the way my weight's distributed, it wasn't worrying to anybody. I didn't look the stereotypical way somebody who was going through an eating disorder, and I was really struggling at that point. I had stopped taking care of myself at all, and I became utterly obsessed with this idea of being perfect. And I would get compliments. When I was in the height of this disordered eating and disordered way of thinking, I would get compliments on myself. Oh, you look so beautiful. Oh my God, you look just like your mom did when you were a kid. I would get compliments, and I remember thinking, okay, it's working. So after that, when I was about 17 years old, I had a health scare that I'm not going to get into. That's private, and maybe someday I'll make a video on that. I'm not interested in that right now. So when I was 17, I had something happen with my health, and that was kind of a wake-up call, I guess. And I started to not restrict anymore, and I started to not care, and I did gain weight. I did. I was almost 18 years old at this point, and then from the time I was 18 to 19, I really didn't think about what I put in my body. I just ate, and I didn't make myself sick, and sometimes I did, sometimes I slipped up, sometimes that mindset of myself did. I got a therapist when I was 19. I'm still in therapy now. That is my story. Those are bits and pieces of my story with eating and with my body and all those things. What I really wanted to talk about in this video was the way I feel now and what my relationship with my body image now after being through all of that, because I know that my story is not unique. I know that is not unique to teenagers in general, not just girls. I know that happens so much, and I want to try to create as much awareness about that as possible. It's horrible. So when I was 19, after that time of just I tried to get back to eating healthily or eating a healthy amount for myself. I didn't really think about it. I ate a lot of chicken nuggets and fries. I ate a lot of burgers. I ate a lot of slices of pizza, and I just tried to get back to myself. So when I was 20, this was last year, I looked in the mirror and I remember thinking I didn't recognize myself, because even though I was obsessed with fitness and obsessed with nutrition and obsessed with all those things, I actually genuinely enjoyed it to a certain extent. I enjoyed working out. I really did. I enjoyed being strong, or, feeling a sense of accomplishment, like I was strong. I enjoyed running, which I hadn't done. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed knowing what I put into my body. For the last year or two, I had just been trying to get back to eating anything. And now I felt, in therapy, I feel a little bit more comfortable eating. So last year in 2024, I really started to make lists and brainstorm and research how to healthily get back into fitness so I could, feel my best, but also do it in a healthy way. And also how to encourage nutrition, because at this point, my safe foods were like chicken nuggets, fries, pizza, all that stuff. And that's great, but I wanted to eat healthy, and I wanted to eat that things that made me feel good and that I knew were healthy for me. So after a lot of research and a lot of discussions in therapy and all of these things, I decided to get back into fitness, and I got back into nutrition in a healthy way, in a way that made me feel comfortable with it. And I'm gonna break that down for you if anybody else is in a similar situation. So for fitness, I love working out, and I always have, and I love running. I've always been a runner and I love it. So I started very gradually to go on one run a week, and I worked out twice a week. And that was really gradual for a couple of months. And at this point now, I've worked my way up, and now I love working out. I work out like 5 to 6 times a week, but not an obsession wise, just it makes me feel grounded in the mornings, and I like that. And working out for me typically is either yoga, which is not as typical. I usually do that on Sunday nights to kind of reset, but yoga is a big one that I have done. But strength training, like just sit-ups and squats and all that stuff, and cardio. And Pilates, there's like online classes and stuff I've participated in. Pilates is a huge one. And so I like to do that like 5 to 6 times a week, but that's not like regimented or anything. And for runs, I really like to run like 2 times a week, but I go for walks every single day. And I don't miss, because I feel the best when I'm moving out of my house. I also have depression, so there's a lot that goes into that. So if I don't go for a run, which I try to, but I will at least go for a walk. So those are the things for fitness wise, and I have felt the best I've ever felt in the last year of my life. I really have. The last 6 months have been the best, but the last year I've really felt great. And for nutrition, I don't track, because I know myself, and when I start to, I get obsessed with it and it becomes really dangerous again, and I don't want to revert back to where I was all those years ago. So I just try to make the healthiest choices. I still eat cheeseburgers, I still eat fries, I still eat pasta, I still eat, like pizza and stuff, but I really try to make healthy choices. I try to prioritize, fruits and veggies, and I also try to prioritize protein. Protein's a big thing for me. That's me. And that's my story. And that's what's worked the best for me. I hope that what's portrayed in this video is not me just blabbing about my life and all that stuff. I hope that it shows you that if you are in the height of an addiction, technically is what I was experiencing. If you are in the height of that, of any kind, that there is hope on the other side, and that there is a life past that. And if you're struggling with specifically your body image and specifically eating, just know that in every stage of your life, you're gonna look different. Like, I look so much different than I did when I was 15, and that's okay, because that's 6 years in the difference. I'm 21 now. I almost had to go through a grieving period of my body from when I was 16 years old, because I don't look the same. I really don't. I just don't. I have curves now. I've developed more since then. I love my body. This is who I am. I do everything to keep healthy in my own way, for my mental health and for my physical health, and that's all I can do. So when I do start to get those thoughts about body image and about my body looking different than it did 6 years ago, or whatever the case may be, I really try to remind myself that my body looks and feels how it's supposed to right now. I'm sure I'm gonna look different right now than I do when I'm 30. And what a privilege it is to look back fondly on my body in every stage. This body, this vessel, is going to carry you through the rest of your life. So treat it with kindness and the respect and integrity that it deserves. I'm gonna go finish my carrots and hummus now. And thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe. We post new videos every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Atlantic time or 2 p.m. Eastern time. You're beautiful, you're worthy of love, you look incredible, and I am so happy that you're here.